Hello, everybody. Things have been a little bit hectic here in the real world, so I don't have a sort of more regularly scheduled video, either a normal Starship review or a build update on the Doom Triangle behind me. But I still wanted to do something because I didn't make a video a little while ago either, so it's been a few days. You know, content algorithm and all that stuff. Professional YouTube terms insert here to make it sound like I know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so today I thought, because, you know, I haven't done video things, that I would just take a quick out and I would do there we are, back to normal. We would do a sort of tour of one of the ships that I built in Minecraft before. Now, if you've been subscribed to the channel for a long time, you probably recognize this. I did do, or follow me on Instagram, you probably recognize this from a while back. This is I think I called it the Gazelle class destroyer, which is a sort of Saladin evolved, or sort of developed. Let me do this. Alright. So yeah, it's a sort of evolved Saladin, built a little while after the main production run. It's a little bit different, a little bit improved, called the Gazelle. And I built it. I did a tour of the ship. I think I did it like deck by deck. It was quite a lot of work, but it was on my old crumulent Walmart laptop, and video quality was not great. So it should be a little bit better with this new computer. Not that the new computer is like phenomenal. This is not a brag about, oh, my new computer can handle this easy and it's so complicated. It's more anything would have been an upgrade, and it records a lot better than the old computer. But yeah, we're just gonna kind of go through it. Probably do a little bit of exterior, a little bit of interior. I'll wander around. I've completely forgotten where everything is on the ship by this point. I've definitely forgot all about where everything goes and how everything is arranged. So there's going to be a lot of, oh, I think this is here. And I'm also trying to do this sort of in one take. So there might be noise interruptions. I apologize. But yeah, we'll just kind of go through, take a look, investigate, all of that stuff. Anyway, as you can see, sort of on the external, this is very much a sort of the original series 23rd century design. There's nothing fantastic about it. The whole ship is only about 200-something meters long. It might be just under 200. I forget. The saucer section is not a Constitution saucer. This one only has one deck on the leading edge here. So if you look at it, a Connie has two decks on this section, and the underside kind of curves upwards and down again. So this looks very much like the original Enterprise's bridge, or saucer, but it's a little bit different. I've added a little more greebling too, like the thrusters there, and some like whole lines. The phasers are a little bit different as well. The original Constitution has actually on 3 twin phaser banks on the ventral and dorsal hulls. And this just has 2 single phaser emitters on either side, because this is just a little destroyer. Its main teeth are the torpedoes that we'll get to. The ship is a little bit different from a normal Saladin. I added the deflector dish in a sort of recessed section going into the sort of lower saucer protrusion here. Protuberance, I guess you'd call it. And yeah, I mean, there's some versions of the Saladin that have no deflector. Some of them have the deflector coming out of a really janky looking, like, pole here, and then it goes there, and then there's the deflector in here, and it looks really weird. I didn't do that because it looks jank. I did add a deflector though, because I thought a deflector would be useful. It's not much, but it's a small ship, so it probably doesn't need much. Then we have the lower sensor dome. We have the torpedo launchers. When we get inside, I can show you a little bit more about the torpedo tubes. They're a little bit different from how I imagine a normal Constitution's tubes are, but yeah. And then we get to the Bussard collector on the Nacelle. In canon, I don't know if it's ever been explained, but in a lot of sort of beta sources, this actually collects deuterium or hydrogen from the space around the ship. And then I gave it some grilling to do whatever grilling does. There's airlocks on the lower hull for sort of reloading. There's the aft phaser turret. The lower turrets are right here. So there's one there and one there. Those are escape pods. Bloop, bloop, bloop. We'll probably get to those on the inside. This whole ship also has an interior as well, so we'll take a look at that here in a moment. We can actually quickly, if I can find what I want, we can take a look inside the Nacelle, because the Nacelle has an interior. I tend to get obsessive with these things. This Star Destroyer as well will have an interior. So yeah, it has an interior. It actually looks really, really cool for something that nobody's going to see. So there's the Bussard collector here. We're at the front of the Nacelle. And then there's the sort of warp field emitter and the warp coils right here going down the length. I don't think we ever see the inside of a Constitution's Nacelle, and then this is sort of the governor and the field stabilizers back in here. But as I say, I don't think we ever actually see the inside of a Constitution's Nacelle. Just doesn't come up. Oh. Huh, there is a little monitoring room. This shows you how long it's been since I've been in here. I didn't think there was a way to look. Oh, we're too far. Eep! Spoilers for later in the video. But yeah, it's a dinky, and also this is not a Constitution's Nacelle either. They kind of curve in a little bit. They have a little bit more interesting shape to them. I did add this the bubble. You might hear people screaming. They're at the park doing things. It could be anything. I don't know. There's the Shuttle Bay. This is another departure from a sort of normal Saladin. The typical Saladin that you see is just a Constitution saucer, neck, and then a nacelle where the secondary hull would be. So this neck is a little bit different. The saucer, of course, is different. And I added, actually, the ship does have a secondary hull here that kind of runs forward. It's almost vestigial. Excuse me. I'm making myself tired doing this. It does have a secondary hull that's sort of vestigial and integrated into the... I'm going to have coffee. Yep, that's coffee. You can't see it, but rest assured it is. And the secondary hull kind of has reactor and then Shuttle Bay. So this is the Shuttle Bay. It actually has a couple of levels. I'm quite proud of it, really. I think it turned out cool. I like the shuttlecraft design as well, but we'll take a look there. And I think that's kind of all on the exterior. Not much else to see. There's some more escape pods. And yeah, I think that's it. We can take a look inside. We'll just start at the top. Like I say, it's been a while since I've been inside. So here's the name. Uss Manticore, Gazelle class, Cochrane Fleet Yard, so that's the nameplate. Then there's USS Manticore, Humili Vindex. I forget what that means, but that's Latin. I'm guessing it means humble, vindictive, I don't know. I'm not an ancient Roman. I'm too tall. Anyway, it's a small bridge. There's not a tremendous amount of detail in here. I'm not an interiors guy. But I think there's enough to get the point across, I hope. I added a sort of window at the front. There's a lot of controversy. Star Trek Discovery and Picard and Strange New Worlds have the ships have a sort of forward view screen. And they don't in the original series or like Next Generation or any of those shows, but they do there, and apparently that makes people very angry online, as most things do, but I added it just to have a little bit of variation, and also this kind of effect you can't do, where you actually see out, you just can't do with excuse me, a normal fake view screen. There's the captain's chair in the center, then there's kind of science. I'm guessing there's some space creeper saying hi. Or communications, that's where communications would be, then science, then probably tactical and engineering and navigation and ops and that stuff. So not a very big bridge, but this is not a very big ship. And also Minecraft blocks make it a little bit difficult, of course, to kind of get a feel for what goes on, of course. So that's that deck, done and dusted, not much else to see. Deck 2, I don't think has very much at all. Okay, so it's just kind of like officers' quarters. So there's the tactical officer. This is actually the curve of the deck, so it goes up one. So the tactical officer's cabin, he has like a bed, bench, couch, desk, and then some piddly little windows, because, you know, ship's curvature. First officer is kind of the same deal. He has like a little partition in his room, so he has like bed, cutoff area, desk, couch. I tried to give everybody like the basics. Science officer, kind of same deal. I don't know why the science officer has that and the TAC officer has that, but oh well. And then there's the head, so if you notice, these cabins don't have like a bathroom. That's because space is at a premium, so they have the bare minimum. They've got like urinal, sink, showers, or not showers, but stalls. Maybe one's a shower, I forget. But anyway, yeah. Those peeping space toms can totally see in. Look, there's the Star Destroyer looking in on you. How rude. That's what everybody wants. And then it just kind of runs around. There's the captain's cabin. He has, by comparison, a lot of room. So he's got, like, a bed, a desk, couch, some books. He has, like, more space, but it's relative, of course. He doesn't have that much room, but he has a little bit. And yeah, so this deck is just a big ring. This is right here beyond this wall, as I recall, is like the ship's computer core that kind of runs a couple of decks. So we'll take a look at that here in a minute. So that's deck 2 done and dusted. Now we get on to deck 3, and deck 3 is a bit bigger. So this is looking forward this direction. So this is, excuse me, it's quite late, and this video might not be absolutely riveting. But, yeah, so this is like the officer's mess. So this is where they can kind of eat and drink and be merry. They've got a little, this is their showers, so presumably, you know, the different genders would have different times. This is the future, but, you know, at the same time. Yeah. So, they've got, like, a little library area they can be in. They've got, like, this area, I kind of imagine this as being, like, they can do different little things. So they could have people, like, perform, put on a little play with the room they have. They could probably take these tables down, set up just chairs, and you could have, like, a little theater production. And this is just the officers. This is still kind of officer country, but we'll get into more proper things. Then we've moved beyond quarters, though there will be quarters, and we've moved into sort of crew areas. So this is the comms section. So this is where they're manning like the universal translator, they're monitoring comms frequencies. Xenobiology is kind of small. Again, this is just a little destroyer, so the space that it has devoted to science is limited. And this kind of works with Sick Bay as well. This is not going to be making like first contact missions or anything. Then we have stellar cartography, again kind of small little area. So I envision the small ships in Star Trek in the period, they can do sort of a bare minimum of science. Most ships are outfitted for it to some degree. So they've got like, an attempt is made so that if they discover a strange new world, they can meet them. They've got some diplomatic suites as well in the event that, they meet somebody or they're supposed to carry like an admiral from one place to another. They can do that, and you have some comfort as well, but nothing fantastic, because this is just a wee destroyer. Also in the original series, there didn't tend to be a huge amount of space for anyone. And there's just general storage. When I built the ship, if I couldn't think of something for the deck to be, I would generally just say, oh, this is storage. The ship also has the armory, where they can keep like weapons and, hand weapons, obviously. And yeah, then we get into the sort of outer area. So again, we have this ring around the computer core. I don't think there's a door here yet, so we can do ring around the rosy, basically. And then we can get to this little area. So basically the ship has several corridors, so there's some more officers. These are sort of junior officers that share quarters. Probably one is on duty, one is off duty. And they're all pretty similar, just like 2 beds. A little bit of living space type stuff. Officer. 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 The head. Presumably, in reality, there wouldn't be a little window here, but there's only so much you can do with Minecraft, and I need a door here. And again, like, the ship has facilities. Whether you want those facilities particularly or not is another matter, I guess. And then the ship has a gym, apparently. So this would be looking forward, I guess. Yeah. And just like some exercise, you have a skull picture to motivate you. Don't exercise and you wind up like this guy. This is red shirt number 9. 9th of his line, long mission. He came down 9th to relieve red shirt. Oddly enough, red shirt number 3, who was the longest surviving of the red shirts, but he finally croaked. So they sent red shirt number 9 down, and he, there was a mishap, and they transported him right on the edge of a cliff, and he was really balanced precariously. He probably could have saved himself, but of course, you're just off the transporter, you're a little bit discombobulated, and he tripped and he fell. And weirdly enough, he lasted like 6 minutes, but, it was a 6-minute fall. And they were already up to red shirt number 11 by the time he'd finally croaked. Why didn't they beam red shirt number 9 back up? Well, they were busy beaming down his replacements, I guess. So we're on deck 4 now. Can you tell I'm a little bit tired? So this is like the crew's showers. We'll just go into the men's because I don't have any business in the other. But yeah, it's just like this is the general massed crew. But you've never seen a shower in Minecraft before. Then there's the port side cargo bay number 5, and it's just sort of general storage. Again, I like to add a lot of storage to my ships just for ease. There's some lifts here as well, so they kind of go under and up and over. why you couldn't just walk from the lift here to there, I don't know, but, you know. The ship's laundry. So, when I build ships, I like to think about what do they need. Like, beyond the flashy, ooh, the bridge and the captain's cabin and all that, what does a crew need to live on the ship? And then I try to add that in. So there's things like a laundry and heads and all that kind of stuff. Then we get up to sick bay. This is going to be a kind of long video. Yeah, maybe I'll split it up. I don't know. So sick bay, kind of medical stores. Doctor's office, so you can say, hey doc, I've got an itch, and you know, relative privacy. And some beds. They've got like a little lab here, surgical ward type deal back here. Sick bay actually takes up quite a lot of floor space, realistically, and that's just because I wanted lots of interesting little areas too. So there's more of the corridor. The operating room, so kind of very sterile little area with two little beds. And then it just kind of leads back here to sort of containment areas. So the ship doesn't have a brig, but there are containment areas on the vessel. If you've got somebody that might be contagious, you can beam them there. We'll actually get to the transporter room eventually. So yeah, that's the sick bay. Environmental kind of area, so just like vats of oxygen, scrubbers, and things like that. Lift again. More cargo bays. Then we get out here, and there's just like warrant officers. This is kind of a maze of like crew's cabins. The crew just tend to have like big bunks that they sleep in, kind of shoved together. I forget how many crew the ship had, but yeah, that's mostly what this kind of area is. So this is the main, we probably can't see it, but this is actually that main deck. We'll run up here. I'm not going to show you every crew cabin, because that would be very, very boring, but we'll kind of, food storage, so you can store food here, kind of cold and all that stuff, and then we have the sort of forward lounge area where most of the crew would kind of, this is where they would eat for the most part. Officers could come in on occasion. You've got like some, I'm actually quite happy with this pool table here. So there's, you know, the carpet, the chocolate, and then the, for pool cues, we have these. And fun fact, I've played pool like twice in my life and won both times. So I'm pretty much the undefeated world champion. And then we get into the sort of kitchen area, because this is, you know, the 23rd century. People still do their own cooking. They don't rely on machines for that. So it's not much. You know, this isn't a 5-star restaurant, so you don't need all that much space. This actually connects back here to that food storage that we saw. And yeah, I try to make it logical and intelligent in terms of how stuff fits together. So this is running aft. There should be, yeah, fairly wide corridors, that kind of stuff. Showers, we've done that. Alright, we can go down now to deck 5. It says it there for good measure. So we have the turbolift maintenance. So the ship has, of course, a network of turbolifts that all connect, and you can say things like engineering. You know, you're on the bridge, you say engineering, and it brings you down that area. But this is where they actually can do maintenance on the cars themselves. So just kind of a neat little area. Again, I like to think what do places need. What does the starship need to be a starship? And then we have the transporter room, which is, again, kind of a cool little area. There's the transporter pads, so this one is just 4 people that it can send down. Red shirt number 9 stood right here before his untimely demise. And then like a cargo transporter area. And then we have, like, you know, yeah, we've got like operator manual, what to do when the captain beams up. It's 2 and there's a good half and an evil half. This is the alarm you sound. This is what they sounded when crewman number 9 finally died. Red shirt number 9, I'm sorry. Totally disrespectful to him. I apologize. Anyway, yeah, so this is deck 5. It kind of runs around. There's the escape pods here. You just kind of jump in, climb in, and it shoots you out quickly. What do you do if you're not... We'll get to that area. What do you do if you're not in that kind of zone? I don't know. This is the access to the phaser turret. So this is the lower phaser turret. I think the upper turret has its own area somewhere, but I don't want to look. The bathroom again. Deflector control room. So this is kind of straddling. So the deflector dish itself is right here in this housing. And then this is the like monitoring equipment and all of that stuff needed to make it work. Again, I'm not an interiors guy. Who is it? I think it's BOO or Green could do a phenomenal job, but they weren't here. And I don't think they're, I mean, they're big nerds, but I don't think they're that brand of nerds. And then this side is just kind of similar, so there's escape pods. You run up, run, and then there's, you know, port ventral phaser, and then, oh, there's this sort of lounge area for whatever reason. Oh. When I was building this, I had a lot of space to spare, and I just kind of said, hey, I'll add a lounge, like, you know, gelato machine, keep Lore Reloaded happy, and kind of added that there. And then we get to the, probably my favorite room on the ship, really, and that's engineering. So if you look at it, the original Enterprise had kind of a different engine setup to what you see before, what you see later, rather. It was just kind of this weird setup, realistically, with like a thing in the middle, and then there was like climby things that led to Jeffrey's tubes, and it was all very weird. It wasn't the, you know, the normal kind of vertical reactor pole that we've come to expect. And because space was kind of limited, I replicated that a little bit. So like the shuttle bay is that way. Presumably there's a fairly heavy blast door in between the two. But yeah, so this is probably like the main reactor area, kind of shielded in its own little section. And then this is the monitoring zone. And there are actually Jeffrey's tubes sort of here. So there's like crawl spaces that go aft, and you know, they twist their way around, and they're very cramped and confined, and leads you into like a little monitoring station. And the other side has the same little setup. So there is some little like creepy crawly zones. And you know, I try to make these things interesting and cool, and like this isn't available for like download or anything, but was it ever to be? I like to think that, you know, you'd have a lot of fun exploring, you know, looking around and kind of fiddling about. Hopefully, at any rate. Can you get to the shuttle bay from here? That's what I want to know. Huh. I forget. I don't know. Maybe this is how you get... So this is deck 6. Deck 6, the shuttle, or this is like the turbolift access, of course, and it just kind of spins around here. And then goes aft. So this is how you actually get to the shuttle bay, I think. And yeah, and this is how you get to the lower decks there. So, oh, where does this go? Where does it lead? Well, we're going to go to deck 8. I forget where deck 8 is. Oh, deck 8, we're going to skip like deck 5, deck 6, and go straight to deck 8. So deck 8 is below the shuttle bay, and it is the next to lowest deck below the, yeah, it's either directly below the shuttle bay, I think. Oh yeah, okay. So if you take this little thing, it brings you to the torpedoes. So this is the torpedo room. So warning, follow all safety protocols. Never. Ensure all weapons are primed. That should be primed, not primes, prior to insertion. So basically make sure that they go boom. And so I envision this ship kind of carrying a couple of different forms of ordnance. So there's the classic photon torpedoes that are down here. These black, like too wide or too long torpedoes, and those are very much standard. We'll go there in a second. I think I know what that is. So those are very much like standard torpedoes, and then there's these bad boys that are like longer ranged guided weapons that you carry a lot less of, but are, you know, longer ranged and more lethal. So this is like torpedo storage. Then you move them back, move them up here, and then you kind of load them on, and away they go. And I envision destroyers, instead of having just a tube that you load individually, this ship actually has a rotating, like, revolver magazine. So it can kind of swoop in. You can't see right now, but I'm doing hand gestures. It can swoop in. This is going to be a long video. Distracted easily. Sorry, third time's the charm. It can swoop in and it can fire instead of just like 1, 2, 3, 4, like the Enterprise does. Because it has those revolving magazines, you can get like 12 shots off in quick succession, which makes them a little more deadly in specific circumstances. Kind of like that. So this doesn't actually load directly to the tube. It probably loads into that rotary magazine first, and then the tube. And there's probably some safety protocols to ensure that they don't, you know, detonate and explode everywhere. This leads to that room we saw at the start of the video. So this is the Nacelle. So this is the, like, monitoring station there. And the airlocks, so you can load torpedoes directly from outside in here. And yeah, just a neat little area. Then we climb back up, and we have the, like, an office for what? I don't know. We have the more offices, torpedo targeting director. So this is where, like, the rangefinder for the torpedoes is located. So a little workstation here. Again, that's something that you probably don't think about, but it probably has. This is like a little lounge area for the people that work up above. Up above in like the... Oh, there's another lounge here. Anyway, so this is the lower deck of the Shuttle Bay. So you've got the Shuttle Bay here. And then, so you land the shuttle, dupe, here, and then you can store it kind of in these areas, or you can bring it down here where there's like workshops, where you can, here's like a shuttlecraft chassis that has the nacelles ripped off, and they're working on them over there. There's some little like one-man shuttle pods for doing work outside. Some tools, you've got like the reception, some storage for like parts and things, presumably, so like a warehouse up here, just with things, components, which obviously aren't modeled because this is Minecraft. And then you have another workshop where they can do more in-depth work on different things. So I might be really jerky around, I'm sorry. I apologize if that's the case. And then you've got the sort of control area here. Goes around, no, it goes up, and over, and then up here, and then this is where you monitor, like, flight deck operations. And, I think that's about it. Yeah, I mean, I think we've seen just about everything. There's really not that much interior. A lot of the interior is just, you know, crew quarters and things like that. That's fairly boring. But yeah, anyway, that is the interior and exterior tour of the Gazelle class Saladin derivative destroyer that I made a while ago. Hope you liked the video. It's ending now, apparently. Hope you enjoyed. I'll probably make more videos like this in future. I'll probably make one touring that. I'll probably make one touring this, my Millennium Falcon. I have a Cobra Mark III from Elite Dangerous. Krusty Krab. The Star Destroyer that I'm working on slowly, gradually, painfully. These things probably won't get a tour, but they have interiors as well. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Sorry for the lack of sort of prepared stuff, but things have been kind of loony here. So I've just been kind of focused on other stuff. Nothing like bad, just like I don't have time to do anything that I want to do aside from what I have to do. So I hope you enjoyed this video, hope you enjoyed this little tour. Kind of walk around. I did. It's nice to revisit these old things every now and then, I think, just kind of see how they worked and how they were put together. Anyway, let me know what you think of this video. Good, bad, anything you wanted to see in more detail, I might do that in future. What did you think of my horrible interior skills? Let me know about that. And, generally, have a nice day. Hope you enjoyed the video. Sorry for the lack of content. Said this before. I'm repeating myself horribly. I think that's my signal to go bye, so I will go bye.